Hola. Um, so I did my first video yesterday. um, and I think it went pretty well. I watched it and I think it's providing me healing um to see like my own story from my own self. Um, it was different. It's kind of like, you know, I'm in tune with everything I'm saying, whatever, whatever. But it's almost like I'm living in the moment once again. Um, so I got to go through those emotions and feelings and all that. But I can tell, and I know um, there's going to be healing within that. So for that, I'm thankful. And I'm going to do another scripture reading. I opened the Bible right before I turned on the camera and um, flipped open to Isaiah's Transforming Vision, which I thought was perfect because my nephew's is Isaiah. And I don't know a lot about Isaiah's story. I tapped into it recently because I'm like, let me see what Isaiah's about. And I read some of it then. But beyond that, I don't have much knowledge. So let's see what we can get off of this. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. Now, I gotta use my phone. So I need to look up what twain means again because I remember I read it in another verse and I had to look it up that time too. I think it means two. Let me read that again. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain, if it means two, with 2 of the wings. I think it does mean two actually, but I will verify that. But not right now because I need my phone to do it. With twain, or with 2, he covered his face, and with twain or 2, he covered his feet, and with 2, he did fly. Once again, above it. Okay, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. The temple, right? The temple. This is your temple. Okay, so and that to me means let me read it again. And died. I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Right. Because, once again, going back to the Enlightenment, when you are starting to get enlightened, your chakra system is being filled with that light. It's permeating throughout. And when it reaches the crown chakra, crown chakra and temple, boom. See, and they always try to say that Christianity only believes in one life, not reincarnation, and not and not like yoga and chakra systems and stuff, and that's crazy. Because it's like what we need to understand to live in as a human being. So yeah, another thing they stole from us was our human beingness, and that's really what they did steal. They put locks on certain things and they controlled certain things, which were actually sacred things, just like our our uh, sacredness. You know what I'm saying? When that is tainted, or when that is given to another to control, it affects the soul. So yeah. So anyways, the chakra system is very important. Uh, so we need to start learning about that instead of trying to demonize it, because it ain't nothing demonic, except when that demon gets up in it. But we gonna figure out how we get that out, right? Okay. So anyways, so the Lord, he has a vision of the Lord, uh, and the Lord is within his temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings, and 2 covered his face. Now, this is the Lord. So the angels above covered his face with 2 wings, and 2 wings covered his feet, and 2 wings he did fly. Okay? And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Ah, beautiful. That's enlightenment. That's enlightenment. So yeah, so when the Lord reached his temple, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, because he lifted up within his being, the person telling the story, and he permeated, right? And then the seraphims, each one had 6 wings. With 2, he covered his face. So the Lord covered his face. And with 2, he covered his feet. And with 2, he did fly, like he was away. He's going away from this being. Isaiah. It's Isaiah. Okay, it's Isaiah. So Isaiah's name means laughter. I found out years ago, and this is ever before my sister and her husband decided to name my nephew Isaiah. I looked it up because I read it in scripture, and it meant laughter. Isaiah. Is it Isaiah that meant laughter? Shoot, I gotta relook that up. And I should know this, but yeah. um, so I'm gonna relook into that. Anyways, so 2 of the wings of the seraphims, and that's important too, because that's a different form of an angelic being, seraphim. So I'm gonna look further into that too for my own self. Okay, so 2 covered his face, right? So his eyes are like not really seeing, right? So his senses are being covered up, it seems like. And then 2, he covered his feet. And with 2, he did fly. Like he was gonna fly away, right? Now it doesn't say that he flew away, but that's a fearful, for a spiritual being, just the threat of the Lord going away hurts, right? And then one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts, because he's now enlightened as to his own ills, his own darkness, his own filth. And he sees that in others now too. Yeah, so time to clean that up. Oh. The next title of the next verse is the cleansing fire. So this is baptism by fire, which I have been through. And it was a fearful place I was in. That's when I was in the depths. And I did have my cleansing by fire. And that's another thing personal for me. A little something between me and the missionaries, if one of them happened to see and hear. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin is purged. Also, excuse me. Also, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for? Let me read that again. Also, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I. Send me. Isaiah's new commission. Isaiah's new commission. And he said, Go and tell this people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant. Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. And the Lord have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. But yet in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten as a teil tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in them. I have to look up a teal tree and a oak and what substance is in them because I don't know. When they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. Okay, so let me look up what I need to look up for my own understanding and return. And I got some big hair today. And I know it's dark on the camera. It's like turning into evening. I just, after work, was like, guess what? I wouldn't mind getting into it again today. So that's what I did. But yeah, let me look into this and I shall return.